basic understanding of what AI is, how do we use AI? So if we look at this picture, every single thing here is a form of AI. So does anybody know who that young lady over there is? Do you know her name? She's a very famous AI robot. Sophie. This one here is Sophie. Oh, let me not break nothing. So Sophie's over here. And when we think of, maybe 5-10 years ago, when we think of AI, it was like, robots and it's scary, Terminator, like what's happening? But AI is also right next to her, Siri. So the lighting is making it a little bit off. But this is Siri, right? Hey Siri, can you do X, Y, Z? And if I yell, hey Siri, I'm pretty sure 5 or 6 of our phones are gonna start responding. My bad. And so then it does an action. What is the... Always listen. My bad. I'm sorry. Canceled. Okay, I won't say that word, the SIRI again. And then we have the Ring doorbell, right? A smart doorbell. It could detect packages in front of your house. It could detect faces in front of your house. Who here has a Ring doorbell? Right? So you may not think of it immediately as AI, but it uses AI to give you that access, give you that interaction. You could talk to your person like as if it's a phone. You're nowhere near them. Hey, what are you doing at my house? Can you let me in, etc. Or even unlock your door from a distance using this technology. Then we have, who took an Uber or a Lyft here today? Everybody drove? Okay, yeah, fancy. I took an Uber. But that is also using AI, right? 20 years ago, if you needed a car to take you from point A to point B, you'd call up the taxi line and say, hey, we're trying to get from here to here. They'd contact the different drivers, figure out the best route, and they knew the streets like the back of their hands. Now, you don't even need to know the area. People that are doing Uber and Lyft, they go to a random city, they're there for a few days. They're like, let me just pop open the app, do a couple drives. And that is a way for them to get access to income, but also for us to get matched with drivers. That is leveraging AI in the back end. Again, we trained a system to understand Google Maps in depth. So now we understand maps, and it helps us to match the distance from when one person is to another, how quickly the ride could be done. And so it's just figuring out a way to more efficiently do the task. And what is the task when it comes to Uber, Lyft, or ride sharing? Get a person from point A to point B quickly, smoothly, cost effectively, and with the safest route. Then we have, Google Home, Alexa, chatbots, Tesla, social media. All of this is AI. So when I said earlier, you're using AI every single day, but you're not realizing it, is because we've just naturally stepped into these processes and we expect things that are done automatically. Like, we don't think of it as it's an artificial intelligence that's doing it. We're just like, oh, it's just an automation. Right? We simplify it, but that's really how simple it can be. And can AI be very complicated with large learning models like Claude, and there are even bigger ones that I don't even know the name of because I don't need to be there. I am not trying to develop AI that goes to the moon and do God knows what, right? I'm just trying to function in my everyday work, get stuff done more efficiently, save time so I can spend that time or money with my family, with my company, with the products and service I need to do. That is what I'm focused on right now. So that's what we want to keep in mind, that we're already using AI on an everyday basis, and we don't have to think of it as the super complex way. There are simple AI models, and then there are complex AI models, all right? Good. Now that we got that, let's talk about how we can use AI at work. So some of the ways that we can use AI at work is for research, right? Repetitive tasks that are repetitive, that we don't need to be spending 40 hours doing something. Maybe the AI could have it be done in 10 hours, 15 hours, right? Putting a repetitive task, that's what we call now automation. Instead of us sending back and forth, right? Calendly, or if we're trying to schedule a meeting, instead of the 20 emails. Are you available on Tuesday? No, it's my son's birthday. Are you available 6 o'clock on Friday? No. Here's my calendar. Here's your calendar. Pick a time. It'll send you a calendar invite or it'll send you a reminder. We'll both be there. Boom. Who knows how much hours that has been saved by doing that, right? Customer service. We saw the chatbot earlier. There are questions that your customers are going to ask repetitively. So yes, you can have an FAQ, but people are lazy. They want to feel like they're talking to somebody. So you put all of that information that's previously written in FAQ into a chatbot. So when a person asks a question, the chatbot says, hey, here's the answer, or let me read that FAQ and get you the specific part of it. Because the FAQ might be 5 paragraphs long, and if you see a 5 paragraph long FAQ, what's the first thing you're going to do? talk to person. Immediately, talk to person. I don't want to do this, exit, talk to person. And so if the chatbot is gonna, instead of giving you the 5 paragraphs, it says, here's 2 sentences. And it might even start with your name. Hey, David, here's 2 sentences, try this. And then you give it 2 minutes, you try it. David, did that work? Was that successful? Yes, no. You hit yes, boom, your conversation is over. Now, on the business side, so let's go to the back end of that. On the business side, now that's less hours being used on customer service and more hours being used on growing the business. That's less time being used on answering these repetitive questions as well. And on the customer side, they're getting their solution, they're moving on. Right? And if they do have a big issue that the chatbot was not able to answer or support, then you put in a human to answer that question more dedicatedly. I'm not going to read everything on this list. I'll just point out 2 more. Content creation as well as recruitment and HR, right? So we know everyone wants to be on social media, everyone wants to create content, and using AI can help you build that out. Now they have AI editing tools, you have the full video, you put it in there. It's still getting better. It's not as great as I would like it to be, right? You still need to have a human review it, but if it's 40 hours of content, AI goes through and edits it down to maybe 15 or 10 hours. Right? Isn't it more efficient for the human to go in and look at 15 hours of content versus 40 hours of content? Yes, right? You just saved a significant amount of time. Maybe you have to clean up the edges a bit, but now you get that task done faster, and now you can then push that thing out, getting it into social media, getting into your next campaign, right? We just saw one of the craziest political campaigns. We're not going to get into fine details, but the point of that is leveraging AI allowed them to push out various pieces of information very quickly, create media very quickly, send text messages. Were we all getting calls every day from all the candidates, right? Now that stopped, but all of that was automation, AI using and finding our information first of all, and then contacting us to send the communication that was necessary to push whatever they were asking us to push.